Loach, I can use my head, but there's no one in this world worthy of me doing so, humph. I'm usually showboat and be all cocky. But all my acts are nothing in front of my son's high-class act. Power trumps everything. Who the hell would use their head when their fist was enough? Compared to absolute strength, 1,000 schemes are nothing. Young Sanzi, your old man takes his hat off to you. Would a mighty lion lay a trap for a weak antelope? Obviously not. As the king of beasts, he'd eat anyone that popped in his vision. Why waste time thinking about it? I thought I controlled the whole stage, with the imperial family and regent estate moving at my will. I was like a king. In fact, it only shows just how weak I am. As long as I'm strong enough, I'll be able to pulverize anyone with a snap. Young Sanzi, I shall take this lesson to heart. Compared to you, your old man falls short. Dad, are you praising me? You know, the uncle in Allbeast Mountain Range is praising you as well. That I have much to learn from you, to not be so stubborn. No, it is I who should learn from you. I plot against others for interests alone. But those interests are ephemeral, hardly affecting my own person. While you, nothing chains you, and you can walk the path of the strong. Demonic cultivators are selfish. I used to think it refers to self-interest, or maybe being alone. But that may not be the case. It seems. I will have to simplify my demonic path. For God's sake, I'm having an epiphany here. Can't you break it up a little here, please? It's that damn returning dragon's roar. Why is his head growing again? He's a gecko. Young Sanzi, this geezer can recover from anything. Breaking a few bones won't work, you have to kill him. Gu Santong, you may be strong, but you can't kill me. So how about we each go our own way and see each other in the future? Bullshit. I've been here for so many years. I've never failed to kill anyone I wanted to kill. Soaring Chilant's true form. Transformation. Gu Santong. What kind of trick is this? Humph, this is no trick, just my true form. That was only 30. Of what I can do. Now. One stomp will nail you dead. What is going on out there? What caused such a power spike? Anyway, it's those two that are the cause of it for sure. We better take a look. Welp, that's the real Soaring Chilant's leg. Worthy of being on par with the 10 ancient emperors, it's truly terrifying. Old Loach. Let's see you come back from that. What? Still alive. The person I want to kill. I've never failed to kill. Young Sanzi, it's no use. The Bodhi root is too strong, protecting his life. If you can't remove that returning dragon soul, it won't matter how much you stomp, it won't change anything. What do we do now? I want to kill him, but I can't. This has never happened in 300 years. I'm boiling mad. Don't worry, I got just the thing. And I am quite piqued by those 8 dragon souls as well. Purely academic, of course. Ha ha ha. I, Huangpu Tianyuan, am truly immortal. You can't do anything about. Ha ha ha. Ahem. Fan. You may have joined hands, but it doesn't mean squat. Cough. It hurts. It hurts. Ha ha ha. Old codger, don't get ahead of yourself. 9 Dragons Diamond Body is but an Earth-ranked martial art, far from invincible. Besides, I've already thought of a way to cure you. Ha ha ha. Ha 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 ha. You have a way to cure me. Unless you enter the ethereal stage and destroy my soul, nothing will work. Ha 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 ha. Young Sanzi, hold him down good. Don't let him move. Fan, you're on the verge of collapse with no energy left. You can't even lift your hand. What could you possibly do? You couldn't even best me at your peak. You can't do anything to me. Ha 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 ha. What are you laughing at? I laugh at you for overestimating your abilities. I laugh at you for sitting in a well and looking at the sky, and your knowledge is shallow. The world is filled with countless arts and techniques. Do you think that Bodhi root has truly made your body undying? Humph, feast your eyes on the real world. Demon transformation art. Fan, what the hell are you doing? Of course. I'm going to smack your soul. Stop. Stop. Humph, old Wangpu, you're so stuck up, so obnoxious. Where has all that attitude of yours gone? Ha ha ha, they aren't refined by you. You may have taken them, but they won't listen to anyone but me. Return them and I promise not to fight you again. We will split the world between us. The world was mine to begin with. These earthworms, since I've pulled them out of you. Do you think I can't tame them? No way. No. Dad, I never knew you had such a trick. Is that 9 Serenity's Emperor's master skill? You robbed the old guy of even his temper. Young Sanzi. Defend me while I unite the dragons. I'm breaking through. Yes. Who's there? Gu Santong, you are the imperial family's divine dragon, yet you collude with traitors of the empire. Did you forget the promise you made 300 years ago? My promise refers to keeping imperial family alive for 1,000 years. It says nothing about dogs. I'll help if I feel like it. If not, no one can make me, humph. When did this little thing become so cunning? Fan must have taught him. Then keep your promise by destroying all of imperial family's enemies. With Fan being a national traitor, abusing his power, he is a threat to all of us. Be it as a divine dragon or just to keep your word, you must root him out, not protect him. Humph, to hell with your protection. A son looks after his old man, it's the most natural thing in the world. Moreover, Dad has guaranteed that he'd leave the imperial family alive. He wants power, not status. Young Sanzi, what did you just call him? Right, you still don't know that he's my godfather. Just try touching one hair of him. And I promise to break your bones one by one. Senior, should we make a tactical retreat? Young Sanzi and Fan make for the worst enemies. It's best that we report to His Majesty first. Gu Santong. I used to respect you as being a man of your word, a hero. I don't resent you even in the current situation. But I never thought you'd be so despicable and wretched. Going by Fan's speech, big things are happening. Even if the imperial family isn't overthrown, they'll end up as puppets. How is that any different from robbing their lands? Gu Santong, if there's still some decency left in you, you'd keep your promise and protect the imperial family's lands. Do your duty and not resort to petty tricks like reading between the lines. It is not how a man of honor conducts himself. And who are you supposed to be? I don't know you. Your creepy look, it has nothing to do with me. Ha ha ha, Gu Sentong, you don't need to know. I only hope that you'll fulfill your promise. This smell is a bit familiar. I still can't remember. Who are you? Have we met before? Then I'll help you remember. Piercing Wyason chain. Gu Santong, do you know me now? It's you. You're still alive. I thought. Humph, alive. Look at me, do I look alive? Gu Santong, if not for your punch back then, I, being on the brink of entering ethereal stage, wouldn't have turned into a spirit puppet, into neither human nor shade. I am filled with rage every time I think about it. But I don't hate you, because you always kept your word to me. But now, I am still a man of my word. No, you aren't. You've just found a way around it, unprincipled. Didn't your godfather teach you about loyalty and justice? Are you going to turn your back on them? So the real identity of the Shadow King. Haha, he's still a child, so easy to deceive. The great Shadow King, the once best in Tianyu. The immemorial sage, comes back 3 centuries later to use some shoddy righteousness. Is this how a true man acts, deceiving children? Before speaking of promises, shouldn't you straighten yourself first? Zhua Fan. You rotten bastard, I don't know what fancy words you've used to deceive Gu Santong. But his first godfather was a scholar, a man of principle who taught his children virtue and honor. Unlike you, who leads him astray. Gu Santong, ask yourself, did your first godfather earn your respect and love, or is this despicable and vile thing who you value more? Be it your former righteous and honorable godfather, or the current despicable and repulsive one. We each have our own paths. But one thing we have in common is our love for our young Sanzi, which will never change. Zhua Fan, shut up. It's you. Luring and deceiving the young and innocent Sanzi into a backbreaking oath, does that make you a gentleman? Since you're no saint, why go around asking others to treat you like one? Zhua Fan, I am loyal to the Empire. No amount of vilifying by a twisted lowlife can change that. Dad, he took my punches back then to defend his homeland. He is loyal to his country, a hero. Young Sanzi, I never doubted his loyalty, nor his resolve. But what is on him that makes him a gentleman? Humph, what a sick joke. The diehards in this world, under the pretense of loyalty, have done unspeakable things by the score. Is it loyalty? I can say with no shame that his back is straight, his heart is righteous, and use the same words to bind others into an oath. If that's the case, I'd like to ask Shadow King, sir. How could he use a shameless lie to trick an innocent child to become an indentured slave for the imperial family for 300 years? And now you've come again, using that same principle. Is this how a gentleman acts, picking on the small? What are you talking about? Who tricked him? This is a gentleman's accord between me and Gu Santong. How can he just go back on it? Hardly, I only hear how a gentleman adapts to the situation, how flexible he is. You cheated a kid last time, so how can you still call yourself a gentleman? As for being an accord between gentlemen, since you're so ungentlemanlike, how does it still hold? That's right. Gu Santong, remember our promise at my time of death, how I took 10 of your punches. Shut up. Sage, I may not think of you as a gentleman, but I do admire your feat 3 centuries ago. But you are a divine dragon. Dying for your lord and in line of duty is something I understand. It's in your job description. The agreement made 300 years ago was clearly a trap. And now you're trying to trick young Sanzi again by bringing up the events of that time. How dare you use your own foolish choice of loyalty to bind an honest, innocent child like young Sanzi. You don't deserve to be called a gentleman. You're shameless. I've never seen a more despicable man in my life. Forget the fact that you turned into a spirit puppet. Mind you, a prick with a thick face like yours has the audacity to go on living while building up the shadow core, those deranged and twisted minds. You. I've known that Zhua Fan is strong and cunning, but I didn't realize that his tongue is sharp as well. Senior, ease your anger and mind your health. Ha ha ha. Now, let's go back to the shameless lie I just told. Shadow King, how did you know about the matter of young Sanzi's godfather? Can it be that the imperial family arranged it? Oh, I guess I was right. Imperial family had planned it. Dad, you. What are you talking about? Young Sanzi, I do not know what happened 3 centuries ago, but this senior sage here, through his attempt at using pretty words to cheat you again, has spilled the beans. Isn't it odd how he knew about your godfather's upright character? As I recall, the imperial family interfered after your fight with the 7 houses. Your godfather should have been killed at that point. Godfather, what does it all mean? Just tell me. When I met the Emperor, he said that he had kept an eye on me ever since the hubbub back in Drifting Flowers City. That's normal, as every ruler would do when there's an event in their backyard, to the point that they'd even figure out the source of it. But don't you find it even remotely odd how the Emperor back then only acted when you had half the nation in chaos? Ha ha ha. There's only one answer. It was premeditated. The way I see it, ever since you pilfered the house's ingredient stash, your every move was under the imperial family's supervision, also that you and the houses would fight it off to weaken them. If anything, your meeting with Godfather was also part of the imperial family's plan to re-educate you. And then have the 7 houses kill his entire family. What? Godfather, is that true? Bullshit, Gu Santong, don't believe his lies. The imperial family's losses were also heavy at the time. If it were the imperial family's ploy, they wouldn't burn themselves with it. There's no one so cruel to themselves. Ha ha ha, yeah, no one is that cruel to themselves. But you forget one thing. What man proposes, heaven disposes. There's not a single man out there who can control everything. From just a simple mistake, everything could unravel. Young Sanzi, this is clearly the situation. All humans are good at birth. Young Sanzi had just entered these lands and didn't know right from wrong. That is why he stole those ingredients, inciting calamity. But his strength kept him alive, even when badly wounded. This caught your attention. But you were wrong about one thing. Young Sanzi's wound was because he was still new at fighting, making an erroneous estimate of his strength and deciding to use him. That's where his godfather came in. Whether he was your man or one you placed, he was young Sanzi's teacher either way, showing him a life of honor. Then you drew the 7 houses over to kill him. Planting the seed of revenge. But this was only an excuse. Young Sanzi was your center stage puppet. Even if he was too weak, you just helped him fight the 7 houses from the shadows. And let him take the fall. However, what you never expected is that young Sanzi's power was outrageous, out of your control. So when you entered the stage, you couldn't do anything and suffered heavy losses just the same. Are you going to reverse what happened 300 years ago just by these bold guesses of yours? Zhua Fan is so insidious. That's what being too smart for your own good does. Where the enemy loses 1,000 and you lose 800. The way I see it, ever since you pilfered the house's ingredient stash, your every move was under the imperial family's supervision, also that you and the houses would fight it off to weaken them. If anything, your meeting with Godfather was also part of the Imperial family's plan to re-educate you. Is what Dad just said true? Those are just random guesses and lies. There's no way he knows what happened all those years ago. Right, I don't, and all I said were mere speculations. But even so, it does feel true, doesn't it? Especially the part you blurted out. How did you know about my godfather's character? You made such a big fuss back then, we had to investigate your background. Of course we knew everything about you. Is it that odd? Senior Sage, what a perfect memory you have. Young Sanzi's godfather was but a simple scholar. Yet you remember his character from 300 years ago. I didn't think you cared, ha ha ha. Oh no. Fake, all fake. I, Gu Santong, never had a family. Gu Santong, your godfather was one of us. He was loyal to the crown, to the imperial family, and died with no regrets. As his godson, you should follow his footsteps and defend the nation. Shut up. You lied to me. For 3 whole centuries. Young Sanzi, the world is filled with false truths and covered truths. Those events 3 centuries ago may be lies, but that does not mean your godfather didn't care for you. Dad, you mean godfather. Treated me like a real son. It should be, since that's how the devious and demonic me treats you. How couldn't that mortal feel love just the same? If he hadn't, then it would make my demonic path a waste to not even compare to a mortal's, ha ha ha. You 3 listen up and listen well. I and young Sanzi will let this go, putting this matter to a rest. From this point on, young Sanzi and you have no ties. He is a divine dragon no longer, and neither your national guardian. Am I clear? Fine, the oath is now lifted. We will meet again. Zhuofan, with your style, shouldn't you take this chance to rob our lives for your interest? Why? You think I'm the type to let you go out of the goodness of my heart. Ha ha ha, I'm doing it for young Sanzi. I don't want him to be blinded by hatred. Humph. Great Steward Zhua, isn't it easier to control those hellbent on revenge? I find that you're a savage only with the rest of the world, while quite considerate to your people. So what? What's that got to do with you? Nothing whatsoever. But do not forget your brotherhood with the third prince. If he doesn't live up to it, you don't have to either. You can see from how he is that he has never been unworthy to you. Fatty. Zhuofan, I finally know how you treat others. His Majesty's plan is meticulous. The entire scene is under his complete control. You. Be careful. Oh, you're a divine dragon, yet also. Young Sanzi, our time together hasn't been pleasant, but I am really happy for you. You're lucky to have Zhuofan. He cares the most about his people. Well, we should leave. Let's go home. Dad, haven't you combined the dragons yet? Why are you only in the 5th layer of Profound Heaven stage? That earthworm was a peak radiant stage expert. Cultivation comes in slow and steady steps. I may have taken the whole dragon vein, but it's not so easy to refine them. Or I'd be in the ethereal stage by now. It wouldn't benefit my future cultivation either. My foundation in this life has never been better. I want to reach further and beyond anyone else, and not tie myself down with transitory riches and fame. In any case, cultivation has no shortcuts. Or the faster your path, the shorter it is. But that earthworm sure was hard to beat. Even after kicking him around in my main form, he just wouldn't die. We shouldn't have given him the Bodhi root. No, we had to. 9 Dragons' diamond body was the basis of his confidence in igniting the war. If he hadn't moved, then neither would the Emperor. And if the Emperor stood still, the court would be the same festering cesspool, working against us in the long run. We needed a good catalyst. In vernacular, as long as we crossed swords, the Emperor would only then take his court through spring cleaning. Using the civil war that engulfed the whole nation as our righteous excuse to replace his rule, we can then make our claim. Dad, why go through all this trouble? With the 2 of us, invincible, we can flatten the imperial capital now that Rotten Oath is gone as well. We'll see then if those cowards dare to mess with us. Ha ha ha. Young Sanzi, this is why you lost the last time around. I dare say, even without the sage to cheat you, you still couldn't have taken hold of the empire. If your motives aren't pure, there's nothing to gain. Without a good excuse, no one would listen to you even if you take the nation for yourself. Besides, what's a country if not a vast farmland? Tianyu, if you want them to listen to your orders and farm, you need a grand purpose to have them all come bearing these resources at your feet. Or even if you are the strongest, with such a large domain, are you going to mine or harvest the stuff yourself? Speaking of Tianyu's emperor, he has had a steady flow of resources coming year in year out. With these as incentives, many experts gather under him. That's why every single ruler pays attention to righteousness, to justify their claim. Or even if you're godlike, it'd be hard to take all that stuff by yourself and, frankly, it's just not worth it. This is why you should steal everything in broad daylight and with a smile. Now that we talk about this, the imperial family and the 7 houses are really insidious. Young Sanzi, you must now know more skills, right? Yep, Uncle developed my innate strength. I can use the Qilin shield and return to my innate form. The last one is Soaring Fist, but I'm still practicing it. Vaulting Kuanping hasn't shown any ill will, so far. And was earnest in helping young Sanzi discover his strength. After a casual week-long flight, we've finally made it. Elder Chio and the rest are besieging it by the looks of it. He, I once took my shot at it back in the day, but it was just so tough that it took me a whole day to flatten it. They won't breach it in their lifetime. Regent Estate's home has a total of 385 barriers, plus 10 5th-grade arrays. Not even 1,000,000 men can do it. Young Sanzi, they'd die of shame if they heard you. It's not my fault if they ask. I just gotta tell them. Of course, but do it in style. That's how father and son operate. Ha ha ha. Elder Chio, it's not working. Caged Dragon City's defense is too tough. Won't work. It's been 10 days now yet you couldn't break one barrier. Are you perhaps still thinking of your old life and slacking off? No, never, how could we? Ever since Luo clan took us in, we've cut all ties. Just that Caged Dragon City is a tough nut to crack. Beat it. If you don't punch through, and Steward Zhua comes after my skin for it, I'll take it out on all of you. Old man, this city won't go down so easily. Should we use the life and death art? Absolutely not. Elder Shui, with Elderly back in Windgaze City to recover, you two are the only pillars here to intimidate the experts inside. But with the life and death art taking too much of your Yuan Qi, and with Lang Wuchang's sharp mind, we may fall for his tricks and end up defeated. Hey, Biddy, what do you mean by that? You take us brothers for nothing, the demonic cultivator hero quartet. Without these geezers, you still have the 4 of us. Not to worry, you may go and die to your heart's content. Right. You four shits must mean for you to die first, right? Ha ha ha. I had thought you'd have whacked those shrimps by now. But I see you've been waiting for me to take over. Jua fan. Tka. Invincible scamp, Gu Santong. Jua fan, Gu Santong is still after you. Little master. Little master. Ha ha ha, you didn't know. Let me make the proper introductions. Gu Santong, my godson. What? Steward Jua, when did you and Gu Santong have the fortune to get so close? About 7 or 8 years ago. Me and young Sanzi traded blows leading to us becoming the father and son duo we are today. Oh, I see. Steward Jua, what have you planned after this war? Don't worry, I have everything set up. With Jua Fan's shindig at the Imperial Palace as the start, it had already exposed the Imperial family's intention of clashing with the houses. Jua Fan didn't just lash out either, having seen through it. The way he pulled away Gu Santong, their great general, proved it. Not even the emperor knew of this by his behavior back then. Hiding such a relation for 5 years was a killer move. It all made sense. The imperial family wants domestic peace by eliminating any dissidents. Jua Fan had long since entertained the thought of taking on the world. And Regent Estate used this chaos to expand. Each with their own goal, all at the low price of the other houses, out of the loop and toyed with like fodder. Now that we are in Jua Fan's boat, we are stuck with him. Since he said he has a plan, I'm relieved. Steward Jua, what's become of Huangpu Tianyuan? Do you need to ask? With young Sanzi's help, he's dead as a doornail. With the two of them together, there's no one else in Tianyu who can compete with them. That's true. Steward Jua, I'm incompetent. I've failed to capture Dragon City for 10 days. I've failed to live up to your expectations. 10 days and no results. You sure are useless. Guess this young master and my dad will have to show you how it's done. Little master is awesome. Go for it. Look, someone's attacking again. Lighten up, no matter who comes. We have the 8 overseers watching the heaven-locking chain array, not even the emperor can breach it. Oh, no, 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 that's Jua Fan. What? Sir Lang, our defenses are breached. What do we do? What can we do? Surrender. Our only hope fell with Estate Lord. Since I heard Jua Fan just now, it only means Estate Lord. What else can we do? Surrender. What? Surrender. This. I went with Regent Estate because I wanted to get revenge on Jua Fan for destroying my home. But now, even the Regent Estate lies defeated. The array has been broken, everyone listen to the order. Capture Regent Estate and bring me Lang Wuchang, alive. Steward Jua, it's your victory and my loss this time. What's with that tone? It's like you expect there to be a next time. Never again, I have completely lost to you and would never dare to face you again. I only wish to know if that road pass you gave me is still valid. My word is my bond. If that's the case, I wish then to have Regent Estate survivors under your care. I hope you'll be kind enough to accept me. If Regent Estates experts hop in, the Luo clan will become a behemoth. That's right. The Luo clan is growing at unimaginable speeds. Like the case of two mountains side by side, your might may be a cut below the neighbors, but the guy would sure have his eye on it. As this ambition gets bigger, you'd find at some point that no one would even throw you a glance, nothing more than a pebble to step on. Sir Lang, are you sure they want to surrender? Of course. Well, in that case. Seal your cultivation, all of you. What? Steward Zhua, what do you mean? It's simple. You're prisoners of war and of great power. If you don't seal yourself, how can I take you in? You might run on our way back. I see. Steward Zhua, we have. Not bad, not bad. You've been obedient. Kill them all. Didn't they give up? They even obeyed you, so why kill them? What are you standing around for? You heard Steward Zhua, kill them. Zhua Fan, you low-life scum, double-crosser. I will haunt you forever. Lang Wuchang, you traitorous bastard. How dare you sell your honor to destroy us with Zhua Fan? Regent Estate has been good to you for decades, yet you show not 1 ounce of remorse. Is your conscience eaten by a dog? Steward Zhua. Why are you doing this? They're now yours, a big help and not a thorn. Sir Lang, you're an intelligent man. You can see why they surrendered. They did it for themselves, not for me. How can they be of any use to me? But these are human beings. You can't be so ruthless. They may still hold true to their old master, but with time and training. I don't have time. You're clearer than most about the current situation. The winner will have to face off the imperial family. Do you believe we can get along so well in these circumstances, that I can use these captives, Lang Wuchang? Wouldn't you fear a revolt? Humph, never taken prisoners before a battle. That is the law. Lang Wuchang, are you unreasonable or still hold loyalties to your old master to make such a rash decision? If you'd have breached the encirclement, there'd still be some experts surviving. But now. Sir Lang, Sir Lang. Sir Lang, you're too greedy. You wanted to save them all but have doomed them instead. A mastermind needs a collected mind, not let himself be swayed by emotions. You've been a mastermind your entire life, so why make such an elementary mistake now? All these people died because of you. Ha 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 ha. Steward Zhua. But you promised me. You promised me a pass. A pass is, by definition, singular and for a mastermind. Now who would you have in mind? The one who eats this lives, and the rest die. Choose. Sir Lang. Sir Lang. Sir Lang. Save me, save me. There are so many people. Who do you want to save? Ha 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 ha. Didn't you choose yourself in the end? Was that so hard? Zhua Fan, you're a hellspawn. I thought you knew by now. Is it that odd? And everyone else here. Shouldn't they all know that I am a hellspawn? Isn't that right? H. So this is the end of all who take bloodworms. We have to be extra careful from now on, lest we end up like that. Such is the fate of the grand unwanted contriver Lang Wucheng, the one who toys with others' lives. Zhua Fan is really scary. Well, the rest of you do what you have to do. Killing, pillaging, and desecrating. Don't have to tell you, do I? Regent Estate is the boss of houses for a damn good reason. It has many times more corpses than the other 6 combined. Steward Zhua, my surrender is sincere. Is this really necessary? Oh, Sir Lang, do you feel wronged? You only have yourself to blame. I did give you a Luo clan pass, but what did you do? Threaten me with hostages. Ha ha ha, I am quite the petty man and your act cut your pass in half. So after shaping you up for, let's say, 3 full days, we will speak terms. Steward Zhua, you told me taking your people was enough. I was still Regent Estate's steward, considering its interests is natural. How can you? True, I did say that. Did I also ask you to plot against me, against your future lord? So you see, punishment is in order for your inflexible ways. And just so I won't forget, keep your excuses to yourself. Cashing in the pass will still come down to my decision. Old Man Lang is trying to reason with Steward Zhua. He's just asking for trouble. He deserves to be tortured for 2 more days. Big Brother Zhua, Sir Lang is on our side now. Why not just let it go? He still looked after us while we were captive in Regent Estate. Since Clan Head has asked, I can reduce it to 2 days. Thank you. Thank you. Clan Head. Yunhai, come with me. Yunhai, did you really believe I was doing this because he set me up? That's why I'm torturing the old man so much. Why else? Don't I know you, Big Brother Zhua? You've never been a compassionate guy. Ha ha ha. True, I guess I am petty. Though, it depends on the person. This old coot is on our side now and I won't have the time to mess with him. Then why? This guy's mind is arrogant and scheming. Once in the Luo clan, he will hold a high position. But before that happens, I need to smooth those rough edges and hammer in his station. Or I fear you will one day be overthrown. One day. Big Brother Zhua, won't I have you? I will be honest with you. I am leaving. 3 years ago I made a deal with the demon scheming sect to join them. At that time, you will be truly alone. Big Brother Zhua, you. What did you say? What did you say? I cannot break my deal with the demon scheming sect, or Luo clan will end up suffering. But rest assured, before I go, everything will be in place. And also, being a head of a clan is not much different from being a lord of a nation. It's all about being fake and testing the waters. I had to accept your plea just now or your name would be cut down. When I'm gone, you'll have to find another Mina to replace me. Some things you can't do yourself even if you want to. Understand? Steward Zhua. Bad news. There's an army coming at us from everywhere. We are surrounded. It looks to be Marshal Dugu's army. Godfather. Old Marshal couldn't have picked a better timing. He truly lives up to his name as God of War. Big Brother Zhua, I've been in the Dugu army for 5 years. I know its strengths better than anyone. We may have more experts, but 50,000 can't stem the tide of soldiers. If Godfather is present, there must be 1 million of them out there. We will suffer heavy losses if we clash. Don't worry about him. Keep desecrating. Take them as scenery. What? Zhuofan is the strongest. We will flank him from the east and south, while harassing him from the west and prepare an ambush in the north. In a war of attrition, we will have him in 5 months at most. As for the rest, they are nothing, a loose team. They don't pose us any threat. Old Third and Old Fourth will take them down without worry. Marshal, are we really going to capture Old Fifth? They already lost their clan once. A soldier's duty is to obey. His Majesty wants Zhuofan. Luo clan has harbored him, and since he destroyed the 7 houses and plans to fight for the right to rule these lands. It is unacceptable. Yunhai may be my godson, but duty is above one's family. Marshal, Luo clan scouts have discovered our fake encirclement. Ha ha ha, in war, truth hides behind smoke, as do lies blend in with the truth. I've let them see it on purpose. How's that? Are they in panic now? What about Zhuofan? Marshal, they've shown no reaction. They're still pillaging Caged Dragon City, as if we weren't even here. Good, very good Zhuofan. You're truly ruthless. You saw my flag yet think I am beneath you, not worthy of your attention. Pull up camp and advance on Caged Dragon City. I will see for myself what Zhuofan will do against my invincible army. Martial Imperial Capital summon. What? What's wrong, Marshal? Bad news. Imperial Capital is in trouble. His Majesty needs our help. How can this be? Didn't His Majesty send another edict just a while ago to destroy the traitors? Why this sudden cry for help? Changing his mind after just a few days, and we are so far away. It only proves that the Imperial Capital is in such peril not even His Majesty can ignore it. The Jade says old Zhuge is on the move, with 200,000 troops outside the city. Pass on my order. We must hurry back to the Imperial City to save His Majesty. Steward Zhua, your ineffable machinations got Dugu army to retreat. Wait, this is not per Godfather's character. He acts with speed and force. Once the army is on the move, it won't withdraw for any reason. Just what could have happened? This no longer concerns us. We'd best move Regent Estate's goods back to Windgay City post-haste. I don't think we'll ever meet Dugu Zhantian's army again. Big Brother Zhua, why do you say that? Dugu Zhantian is a master of war, yet also a lion caged by Tianyu. Eliminate the tool once it's done its job. This has been in practice since time immemorial. The Emperor is on the move. Zhuofan and Gu Santong became kin, and the latter even sided with him completely. Since when has this been going on? Oh, Zhuofan, you sure are playing close to the vest. Not even I saw it coming. Report. Your Majesty, please evacuate. The rebel army is pushing hard and the city guards are on the brink of collapse. Your Majesty's safety is paramount. Please think of the world's safety and leave the imperial capital. Absurd. I am the ruler of this nation. How can I just leave the imperial capital? Have you found out where Zhuge Changfeng is right now? Your Majesty, not yet. Prime Minister Zhuge sure is thorough. With all my divine dragons away from my side, he still fears I'll send someone after him. He's been in hiding ever since the start of the rebellion. Ha ha ha, what can a coward possibly achieve? That crusty old man will only show himself when the rebellion is over. Imperial Father. Imperial Father, the city guards are down and even the 6th grade array has failed. Some bastard destroyed the core. The army outside is flooding the capital. Please, Father, evacuate. Humph, that crusty old man had quite a few hidden pawns placed inside the city, waiting for the right moment to strike. I am the rightful emperor, blessed by heaven itself. Let's see how Tianyu's best mind, Imperial Father Yu, my loyal Prime Minister, kicks me off my chair. Ha ha ha, just how many decades did the old-timer take to raise such an effective army? It's not far behind even the Dogu army. Prime Minister Zhuge has shown great consideration for today. Ha ha ha, Your Majesty is worthy of your title. He shows no fear even in the face of 1,000,000 soldiers. Truly a man of valor. Crusty Zhuge, you wretched thing dare rebel. Child, easy. Zhuge has been Prime Minister for decades, rendering great service to Tianyu. He is a valuable official of Tianyu. A lord should not slander one such as he so easily either. Your Majesty, we've been working together for close to a century now. You are still the same. Hypocritical. Now that I have the power, this is your final moment. Can't you be honest for once? Ha ha ha, why ask such a question, Prime Minister Zhuge? I've always been pleased with your conduct over the years in dealing with matters of the court. I can say with complete confidence that if not for Prime Minister Zhuge, there'd not be the glorious Tianyu Empire of today. Oh, great and wise ruler. I have committed the heinous sin of rebelling, a righteous lord's shame. Shouldn't I be put to death? How could the treacherous me ever betray the compassionate and brilliant master? He, the emperor is still blind to see his head is about to roll. No wonder everyone is set to fight him and get Tianyu in chaos. He is not fit to be called emperor, only the wise Prime Minister Zhuge can be the true eminent ruler here. Don't you all agree? Yes. Ministry of Appointments Sir Chao, I have said this before, your flattery is too obvious. You're better off not saying anything. And you're wrong about one thing. His Majesty is no fool, but a shrewd man. I should know, I've been fighting him my entire life. If he were to be a fool, won't that make me a moron? Prime Minister sir. Then, is His Majesty really wise? Yes, His Majesty is wise, or more precisely, shrewd. The sole reason I had a hard time even eating all these years is all due to His Majesty. When will my endless list of crimes fall on my head? When will he corner me? Come tomorrow, I can finally find peace. Oh, then I would have to apologize, Prime Minister. I must have caused you quite the headache, ha ha ha. Your Majesty, are you stalling for help? Ha ha ha, well, let's not. The 50,000 strong Imperial Guards you secretly trained. It just so happens that I had our Chuanrong Empire friends look after them. That army should be gone by now. What? Chuanrong. Ha ha ha, I should have known. You were colluding with them for letting them come to my birthday. Once you were gone, the rebellion started and they've also gone missing from the garrison. However, they only have 5,000, are you sure they can deal with my 50,000 strong? 5,000. That's just the delegation. I am the Prime Minister, tasked with interaction among the empires. A year ago, I had Tuoba Tashan's elite men slip in as merchants. To say nothing of the Minister of Rights being on my side. You and that rough Dogujantian were none the wiser. There are in fact 100,000 Chuanrong in the empire. That was a good subterfuge. I seem to find my poor life at an untimely end. Only Your Majesty is to blame for it, looking to quell the civil war of the houses. So much so that you left the court empty and opened the door for me. Though I do feel for Your Majesty's rush, with your body close to the hereafter. That being said, Your Majesty can't have a stalemate left for your heir. Paving a way for him is paramount if Your Majesty doesn't want him to be overthrown. Prime Minister Zhuge knows me so well. But the empty city tactic is a dangerous gamble. I almost believed it. Out of everyone in the world, only your majesty can have me play your tune. His majesty will abdicate and the world will be in turmoil. It needs leadership to set it right. Are you willing to step up? What? Prime Minister Zhuge is thorough. Even if you win the throne, the people will hardly accept you, while also having Dugu Zhantian to face. It's better to place a pawn you can control. You'll have all the time in the world to take it later. Your Majesty, you wound me. Granted, it makes perfect sense, but I never wanted the throne from the start. All this rebellion is a chance to talk with your Majesty. As for Dugu Zhantian, ha ha ha. I simply need to take your Majesty's jade seal. I'll send word to Tuoba Taishan at the border to invade. Without the support of the Emperor, Dugu Zhantian will meet Tuoba Taishan's army. How long do you think Dugu Zhantian will be able to hold out when he meets his old rival, Tuoba Taishan? Excellent move, flawless even. But Prime Minister, you have to consider that the perfect plan is easiest to err. Begin. Capture the rebels. Your Majesty, when you were dealing with the second prince and the others, your trick was exposed. Who are these two? Ethereal stage expert. Ha ha ha, you're wrong, they're not ethereal stage experts yet. Otherwise, I wouldn't have waited until today to take action. They're on the cusp at best. But their combined attack does make for an ethereal stage expert's attack. Your Majesty, if that's the extent of your abilities, I would have to advise you to give up. Ha ha ha. Prime Minister, don't be so quick to laugh. My order wasn't for them, but for them. Why? Forgive us, Prime Minister. We thank you for your care during all these years. But we are His Majesty's divine dragons. We're only following orders. What? There's actually 5 divine dragons. I have looked into the roster of Imperial Family's experts and there's no name in there. You two are not Yinyang elders. That's right, they followed you under my order. Their true names are Heaven and Earth Sages. Heaven and Earth Sages. The 2 of the 3 strongest divine dragons 300 years ago. You're not dead. So that's how it is, I see it now. With your Majesty's boundless wisdom, you should have taken care of me by now. I can tell you have my 200,000 men surrounded. And there's the 100,000 Xuanrong cavalry on their way, but they must have fallen in your trap. But for that, you need an army, and from what I know, only Dugu Zhantian can do it. But he is out dealing with Regent Estate and Zhuafan. Your Majesty, do you have some other great force that I don't know about? Prime Minister Zhuge, we've seen each other for years and with your ambition, there's nothing you couldn't find out. It's not so easy for me to hide such a move from your piercing eyes. I am in total agreement as well. And I am all the more astonished by how you got such a huge force. What did I miss? Imperial Father is hiding something. From the last rebellion to this one, it's getting more and more dangerous. But even so, this huge army has never been seen before. That's how an emperor works. You want to know that much? But I do believe ignorance is bliss in this case. What could trouble a dying man? I only wish to part with a clear conscience. You are indeed my great minister helping me all these decades, a pillar of the nation.